Hello, welcome. My name is Tracy. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in Central Victoria. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today we are casing the catalogue and I've chosen a card using one of the stamp sets that was in a previous catalogue. It's using the Piece of Cake stamp set using the Cake Builder punch. And this is actually on page 64 of the Annual Catalogue. It's this one here. And there's a couple of cards that I'd really like to make for you, but the one we're making today is this one just here. How pretty is that one? So let's bring the card in and I'll quickly show you. It's this one here. There is so many elements to this card. It's so pretty. So the background here is embossed, then sponged, and then spritzed with shimmer paint. So we've got a few die cuts in the back here and this gorgeous big layered card for a wedding. So let's get over to the craft table and we'll get started. The supplies needed for this card are the Piece of Cake stamp set, and I'm also using the matching punch that goes with this stamp set. We're using the dies from the Good Morning Magnolia set, so these ones here, and we're going to use the large leaf, so two of those, and we're also using this beautiful flower here. So we're using those three dies from that set. I have the 5th largest rectangle stitched framelit, so this one here, so I'll have that one out. I'm also using the lace embossing 3D embossing folder, and I've already pre-done that one. This is shaded spruce, so just to save a bit of time because there's a fair bit of die cutting and there's a bit to this card, so I've already done that beforehand. We're using the petal pink organdy striped ribbon, and this is absolutely beautiful. I love this ribbon. Our inks for this card are Memento Tuxedo black ink, shaded spruce, and we're using the Whisper White craft ink as well. One last thing that we're using is this piece that's been embossed. We're going to sponge over with the Whisper White ink, and then we're going to spray it with this mister, and inside the mister I have the Frost White shimmer paint with some alcohol, rubbing alcohol. So that's just mixed up, and we're going to spray that over the top because that gives that gorgeous, and I don't know how well that picks up in the light of the camera, but it gives a really great shimmer to the background piece. And I almost forgot, we're using the stamping blends as well. So I have the light in the Daffodil Delight, Petal Pink, Shaded Spruce, the Smoky Slate, and the Calypso Coral. So all those light colours. Isn't that colour combo beautiful? Love it. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to start with this piece that I've already pre-embossed. I'm going to bring in a craft mat because what we want to do is we want to bring a sponge in. Now, I couldn't find my piece of sponge that I've got for my Whisper White, but I do have one of these ink blending tools. It's not Stampin' Up, but it'll do because I was able to get my hands on it pretty quick. And I'm just going to go over it, just adding a bit of white in there. And this creates a really nice detail. You can really show up that embossing on that piece of card. So nothing too exciting to that. That's pretty quick. I don't want to add a whole heap. I just want to add a little bit of colour to it. That's all we're using the Whisper White ink for. So I'm going to get rid of that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in that spritzing tool, and we're going to spritz on this piece. Oh, that was a little bit dark there. Oh, that's really pretty. Now the sun is out today, so I'm going to pop it over in the sun, and when it's dry we'll be right to pop the card together. Now because that's made with the alcohol, it does dry really fast. You don't need to have it in sun to get it to work, but yeah, it does dry very fast. So the next thing we're going to work out is, I didn't show you the card kit, so let's bring this in. We have mint macaron as the card base, and it's half a piece of A4 cut in half pre-scored in half, and then I'm just going to bring my bone folder in and burnish. So mint macaron background, we have the piece of shaded spruce that we've just spritzed, and we have another piece of shaded spruce, a piece of petal pink, and 2 pieces of whisper white that we are going to use. So we might actually start off by doing the cake. So we need the smaller of the pieces of the whisper white. I'm going to pop these other ones to the side. I'm going to bring in my stamping mat and a spare piece of paper. Let's bring the Memento Tuxedo black ink in. I'll do that over this side. Hopefully I'm all in camera. Don't want to lose those dies, I'll stick them under that card. Okay, so what we do need is, out of this stamp set, we're using the sentiment May Your Love Grow Sweeter. We're using the cake stand, the top flower topper at the top there. We're also using this cake as well as this cake. So if I bring this card up and show you, we need 2 of these cakes with the flowers all the way through. So this one here. We also need 2 of these ones and 1 cake stand. So let's pop them down. I'm going to do the cake stand first. Because we're going to be stamping that, I'm going to make sure that I'm stamping it the right way so I'm not cutting out a whole heap with my punch. So let's pop him in there on the end. Then we're going to start working with 1 flower topper. We're going to fussy cut that one out. And then let's start doing our cakes. So we've got 2 of each of those cakes. Turn him over, bring that other cake in. Beautiful. And then we're going to bring in the shaded spruce ink pad. We're going to do the sentiment because we're putting that all on that 1 piece of whisper white cardstock. So we only want to ink up that May Your Love Grow Sweeter, and it's just the top line of that stamp set. So we're just going to line it up. You can see straight through, making sure you get both ends. And this is so easy to do with the photopolymer, and especially with a dark coloured ink. Okay, and I'm just going to stamp there like that. Beautiful. So there is all our stamping that we need. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring in all our blends. We're going to quickly colour in those flowers and the stand. So let's start off with the stand. All I'm doing is I'm just going to colour in the bottom of that stand, so just this piece here that you can see. And we're using all of the light blends. Easy done. Then with that top flower, we're going to take the Flirty Flamingo, and we're going to do the 3 flowers along the bottom. Easy like that. Bring the shaded spruce in, and we're just going to do those leaves along the bottom. Now you need some light work here, light leaves here, and that's it. We're leaving that top part of the flower set completely empty, completely uncoloured. And while we have the green out, let's go through. Now we need 1 of these bottoms and then the top, so that's what we're going to work on. So we're going to do, I'll do this one because it's stamped a little bit better on the bottom. So let's colour in all those leaves. And we'll do the top leaves in this side. Okay. And if we turn it around the other way, there's no green on that one. So let's bring in the Flirty Flamingo and we're going to colour in, so we need one large one and we just need to colour in the big flower and also one of the smaller flowers. So let's colour that in really quickly. Beautiful. I'm going to bring in the Daffodil Delight. And the daffodil, we're just doing this circle, or the inside of those daisies. So one on the top there. We have two on the bottom. And we need to bring that Flirty Flamingo back in because we didn't colour in the flowers of this side. So we need to colour in the flower on the bottom one, like there, and also this one down here. This top one. Okay, simple. So the last little bit of colouring in is we're going to bring the light petal pink in and we're just going to colour in. So I'm going to start with this one. We're going to colour in the top bit here of the top. And then when we're using the bottom here, we're going to colour in that bottom piece. Turning this one over. Colouring in the top. And the bottom one of this one. All done. Let's bring that punch in and we're just going to punch these out really quickly. And you can change those colours around to what you have in your stash if you don't actually have those ones there. I'm also going to bring in, no I'm not. I'm also going to cut this sentiment out first as well so I don't wreck it, and I actually might use my larger scissors for that. I find I can keep a straight line a little bit better with the longer scissors. Okay, so I have my sentiment there. And I need to cut these in half. And pop these through the punch. Now if you don't have the punch, all these images are pretty easily fussy cut out, so let's try it the right way, Tracy. That makes more sense, doesn't it? This one I might just use a post-it note to give me something to hang on to. And bring my snips in, and I just want to fussy cut that little flower topper. I want to leave a little bit underneath just so I can glue that down to my card, or to my cake. So I'm just chopping a little bit off the edges so we don't see that. So just like that, leaving that little border up the top there. Okay, so now I always have to think about this a little bit. So we have our cake down the bottom, then we're using this one here. So I'm going to cut off around that flower here. So just like that. And he's going to go on top of my cake stand, so just like that. Then the next one is the large one here with just the one flower. So I'm going to go around and cut that topper piece off. As easy as that. And that's going to sit in there just like that. The next one is the one with the daisy to the bottom. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and leave a little bit underneath. So just like that. And that gives me something. Actually, I might have to do a little bit more on this side. So that gives me something to glue to the piece. So just like that, it'll stick in underneath and glues down easy enough. Then the last one is that top of the cake. So let's do the same with that one as well. Leaving a bit on the base to be able to stick to the bottom of the cake as well. So lots of little fussy cutting, so that's it, that one there. It's going to go underneath. The top is going to go on top. How beautiful is that? Lovely. I'm going to get rid of all my scraps out of the road so I don't lose anything. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring in the big shot. We want to cut out our leaves in the background, our flowers, and also our piece here that's going down on our card front. So this is using the rectangle stitched framelits. So let's bring the big shot in really quickly. Just going to move that right over to the side, leaving it in its order so I can pop it together really quickly. So we have our big shot here. And the dies and also the pieces of our cardstock. So we need 2 of these flowers, 4 leaves. So we need to go through twice. It's definitely worked a lot better, hasn't it? Let's pop this through again. Obviously my big shot needs a bit more tension in it. I'm going to bring in my Whisper White piece and that framelit. Stick the shim on top again, run that one through. Alright, to get rid of the big shot. The piece that was embossed and then we sponged with the Whisper White ink and then spritzed with that gorgeous shimmer paint is all dry, so we can pop all this card together. Now, one thing I didn't say, you want to have the flower pieces, all the bits removed, but the leaves, I actually wanted them to stay intact as best as possible. So yeah, if some bits fall out, don't worry about it, but I think it looked nice with it being fully together. So our piece that we've embossed, it's going to be popped straight down. I'm going to use some tear and tape because we have added alcohol to the cardstock. It sort of made it lift a little bit. And I want to make sure that it stays down on the card really well. So I think tear and tape works the best for that. I'm just taking all that backing off and popping that down so it's got the nice even border around. Just that in itself, doesn't that look great? Okay, so we're going to take this piece here and we're going to pop all our cake down, and I'm using Tombow glue for this one. So starting off with the cake stand, we're going to just pop a little bit of glue down. And let's just build up that cake. You're not going to want to put glue right at the very top because you want to be able to place each piece underneath so it looks like it's layered. So you can sort of lift it slightly. Just like that. Next one with the flowers. Actually, I've got too much there, so I'm just going to take off a little bit of that bottom. That's better. Yep, that's good. Do the same with this one as well. I must have used the wrong die. But look at this. To check which die I was supposed to use. Oh, that's right. I just haven't. I've pushed it up a little bit too far. That's okay. It still looks really good, doesn't it? Beautiful cake. So back to our sentiment piece. I'm going to just cut the ends. If you have the Benna punch, you can use that one. Triple Benna punch, I think it's called. Well, the other thing that works really well is this punch here. You can pop that in and create a good Benna cut as well. because I've already done this one, doesn't matter. And this is going to go over the bottom of that cake stand. And then we're going to stick all our pieces to the back of this. So stick a little bit of glue on this one. It's going off to the side just like that. On this side as well. So we're just making sure that it's even on both sides. There we go. Stick a little bit of glue here. I'm going to attach 2 leaves together. Placing that underneath. I think I should have done 2 smaller leaves as well. So if you cut out 4 large and 2 small, that will give you enough leaves to pop around your piece. So let's try that again. I'm going to attach a small one to a large one. I'm actually going to glue this one to the bottom on this side. Stick this smaller one to the left hand side. Right. And I'm really sticky now with this glue. Let's do this one to our last leaf on the right hand side. Looks good, doesn't it? We're going to pop some dimensionals on the back, and we're also going to pop some of that ribbon down. So let's bring some dimensionals in. Make sure we have enough on the back there. And for our ribbon, we're going to go over a few times. So I'm going to cut that off there. I'm happy with that. I'll just quickly measure that to show you how much ribbon I've used. So it's 15 inches of ribbon. So I'm going to lay this up again so I've got it in the right spot. I'm going to bring some tear and tape through just to pop that down so it doesn't lift up. Also so I can bring my fingers away. Let's bring this in. That looks so pretty. So let's take our backings off. So depending on where you place all your elements, your card may look a little bit different. Just play around with your ribbon and your placing of your die cuts. It looks like it's even. I just popped out one of those, but that's okay, it doesn't matter. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed today's card. If you have, please give me a thumbs up and I'd love it if you could leave me a comment. You could also share the video, that would be really super helpful for me. All the measurements and supplies can be found over my blog, and there is a link to my blog in the description of this video. There's also a link to my online store. If you live in Australia and you would like to purchase any Stampin' Up products and you don't already have a demonstrator, I would love to be a demonstrator. I have an online store and you can see that in the description of this video. If you have any questions, let me know. Okay, until next time, have a wonderful day and I'll see you all very soon. Bye bye.